to the virtual Perfect Vision retreat this year in 2020, Capon Springs. Of course, it's virtual, and we're thrilled to have you here. So thanks for joining us tonight. We hope that if you have special memories around Capon Springs, that this will enrich your experience, and we'll all remember 2020 just the way it's rolled out for us. Please, Bowman, and I did want to just introduce myself. I think I know most everybody, and many of you know me, but my name is Jenny Dyson. I've been a member of Unity for 7 years, and I've been going to Capon for 19 years. So I'm sure we could all go through and say that, but it would take our whole time. So that's who I am. All right, let's get started with a short video.
Yes, so bear with me a second as I share my screen and start this video.
Time in the mountains, making new friends, hoping the old ones will come back again. Anticipating the blueberry pie, coming back to Capon, coming back to Capon. The songs from the trees and the sweet morning dew, feels like the water has music too. Saluting the flag as it rises up high, coming back to Capon, coming back to Capon. Strangers no more, we're not locking our doors. The magic of these healing waters. Time is now coming, we'll say our goodbyes with bittersweet feelings and tears in our eyes. We'll be back next summer, we'll see y'all here, coming back to Capon, coming back to Capon. We'll be coming back to Capon, coming back to Capon. Yeah, coming back to Capon. Coming back to Capon.
So was that clapping on the video or was that clapping from the audience here?
The audience. I clapped at the end, but Reverend Russ, could you bring us into the evening with a prayer?
Absolutely. So I invite you all to do as I'm doing and close your eyes for just a moment and allow those beautiful images to rest on your heart. And as we come back to Capon, we come back into that feeling experience of oneness with one another and oneness with nature. And we feel ourselves being renewed and restored in all ways, through fellowship, through silence, through food, through exercise, through the air. We affirm and know tonight that this experience will reawaken within us that coming home to Capon feeling, so that we can complete this experience together and know that we have touched something magical and beautiful within ourselves as individuals, within the collective consciousness of this group, and within the world. The world needs us to be renewed and restored so that we might share our light and our love and be instruments of the divine in so many ways. So may our love flow like Capon water and be a blessing. not only for ourselves, but for everyone who calls this earth home. God bless Capon Springs. God bless us, everyone, and peace on earth, goodwill to all. This is our affirmation we make in and through the power of the living Christ. And so it is. So we let it be. Amen.
Amen.
So thank you, Russ. Thank you, everyone. With our learning that we've already had around that you can see us, but we can't see you, we're going to use the chat function for a couple polls. We were going to do the old-fashioned kind of poll, like raise your hand, but that's not going to work too well. So if you will find the chat icon at the bottom of your screen, it's in the center of the bottom of my screen, and make sure that it's set to all participants and all panelists and attendees, so that everyone can see everybody's answers. All right, so it's going to be a little bit of a whirlwind here as all our 36 folks start to answer this question. The first polling question: how do you typically get to Capon? Do you use the gravel road, the mountain pass road, or do you use the surface highway road where it's paved the whole way? So put in gravel or paved. Which do you prefer? So far the gravels have it. Oh, there's a few paved coming through. Gravel, gravel, paved, paved. All right. So far, no one said, what are you talking about? Is it gravel or it paved? So we must have a good number of folks on the line that have been to Capon before. But the beauty is, whether you have or haven't been to Capon, it's a wonderful, we want to bring you tonight this wonderful experience. Now, one other chat. Yep, Stacy. Okay. Stacy says, what have you, but you know what? Stacy has never been to Capon, right? You've heard all about it, but you've never actually been there. So we're pleased to have you with us at Capon tonight. So the second poll we want to do very quickly, you already know the poll, the function in chat. So where do you stop along the way when you typically go to Capon? Do you stop at the Apple House? Do you stop at the farmer's market? Do you stop at the Hotel Strasbourg? Or if you stop someplace else, let us know that. Couple apples, couple nowheres, no stops. Get me to Capon, like that. Bojangles, okay. See, that's more creative than my three. Strasbourg, Farmer's Market. Oh, some do both the Strasbourg and the Apple House. Anywhere, I love it. So Ann and T don't stop, but they'd like to know those other places. So we won't spend time explaining all those tonight, but we would, everyone gets to Capon however they get there, and we're glad you found your way to Capon tonight, whether on gravel or making a stop along the way. Now, similar to other events that we do at Unity of Fairfax, this event is an opportunity for us to actually spend time together in community, but it's also an opportunity for us to actually raise some money for Unity of Fairfax as well. So I want to remind you, and I'll do this a couple times during our message and service tonight, that if you would like to make a donation to Unity of Fairfax and designate it as one of the workshops, I think it's called EPS, in text to give, then you're welcome to do that. I'll leave this up for just a moment, so you can, if you want to jot down the text to give number, but you can also always do the old-fashioned way, which is go to our website, not old-fashioned, another way, go to our website and hit the Donate Now button, or as Bowman renamed it one time, the donut button. Or you can also send us a check through the good old US mail system. All right, so we appreciate your time together tonight, and I will stop, Jenny, and turn it back to you. But I need to go back to that PowerPoint.
Okay, everybody, it's Friday night. You arrived at Capon. You come up through that mountain pass, whichever way you come, and that expanse has opened up. And there in the middle of God's green earth is that human industry that is Capon Springs in all its splendor. You've unpacked, gotten your room, you've had dinner, and now we're going to meet together as a congregation in the meeting house. We're about to unpack for you a retreat for the weekend that is typically over 3 days. It's going to be over 3 hours. No, just kidding. It's going to be over just about 90 minutes tonight. We'd like to take you on a perfect vision seeking experience. So welcome everybody. We're so glad you're here. Now let's gather.
All right, back to another quick poll before we have some music, because we have plenty of music at Capon, right? So the second poll is back to your chat function. All right, let me get my chat open. Let's see, this next chat is, what's your favorite meal at Capon? Is it breakfast, is it lunch, or is it dinner? So if you'll chat that for us, we'd appreciate it. All right, so it's a little bit of mixture, right? Some breakfast, all of them like that. Breakfast, breakfast, breakfast. Oh, look, we got a run on breakfast here. All right. And lunch and some dinners. I think it's safe to say that you don't leave Capon hungry. All right. So let's do one more quick chat and then we'll get to the beautiful song that Amy has for us. So what is your favorite food at Capon? Is it blueberry pie? Is it, I'm not even gonna give you a list. Just put in there. Watercress? Really? Fried chicken. Sounds more like it. Vanilla ice cream, all the desserts. All right. We got a roll on desserts there. Some corn on the cob. All right. What we're trying to have you help you do is set that tone for all those wonderful memories that we have together from Capon. And one of our beautiful things that we have is the ability to celebrate music together. So I would like to call on Amy to share a song by Laura Berman called See Through You.
Just as that happened, my keyboard turned off.
The gremlins are giving us lots of opportunities tonight.
I know I've denied it, but now it's my light shining. Can't stop the love I've imagined in me. And through your sight, you give me vision of my life. Then through my eyes, I see your creation in me. When I follow the line of sight, I know I will come alive in the brightest of lights. Believing will lead to seeing. I will be what you know of me, be what you need in me. And when I do, I will see through you. In your love, I dreamed my very first breath. I know having faith is the way to celebrate. When I follow the line of sight, I know I will come alive you need in me. And when I do, I will see through you. Oh, I'll see through you. Oh, I am all that I am. I know you in what I can be. Your light glows inside me, illuminates the road I see. When I follow the line of sight, I know I will come alive in the brightest of lights. Believing will lead to seeing. I will be what you know of me. I'll be what you need in me. And when I do, I will see through you. See through you.
Wow.
Friends.
And Mary, I know you're next. I did promote everyone to panelists. So if you want to try your video now, we're starting to see more faces pop up.
Right.
Okay. I wish I could see all your faces, so it's nice to see you slowly coming forward. Hello, friends. My name is Mary Quattro, and I first attended a retreat at Capon in the late 1980s or early 90s. I know I'm old. I began working with the retreat ministry shortly after that at the request of our dear friend Joanna Shows, who told me that she had gotten a message that I should help with the retreats. And except for several years when Reverend Linda Zupan and the late Amy George led the retreats, I've helped chair the organization and planning of retreats with members of the retreat ministry until just last year. In fact, I enjoyed and saw the benefits of retreats so much that I became a certified retreat leader in 2005 and began my own retreat business, which was known as Chrysalis. The retreat ministry for a time did 4 retreats a year at various venues, but over the past years, we've had it cut back to 1 or 2. Other sites that the retreat ministry has used included Bon Secours in Maryland, Priestfields in West Virginia, Christian Brothers, now no longer around, and of course, Unity Village. But the all-time favorite for me has always been Capon Springs. Over the years, Unity of Fairfax has been fortunate to share retreats with the congregations of Unity of Bowie, Gaithersburg, Washington, D.C., and Unity of the Shenandoah. In addition to the participation of ministers and leaders from Unity of Fairfax, including E.J. Niles, Jane St. John, Donna Johnson, Felice Green, James Jones, and of course, Reverend Sandy Butler, we have had the privilege of hosting several ministers from Unity Village, including Tom Thorpe, Ellen Davenport, Maurice Williams, and Linda Martella Whitsitt. And so through all these groups and people and retreat themes, it's difficult for me to choose a favorite time or a favorite memory of retreats and moments at Capon. Maybe it was the reunion retreat with Reverend Felice Green, where our largest number of participants joined us and where our former music director, Bruce Stigg, provided the background music for prayer and meditation. Maybe it was the year that the wind and rain and high water from a hurricane washed out the bridge, just after Reverend Jane St. John and I made it over. Jane sang "Nearer My God to Thee" in an attempt to calm me down while I was driving. I questioned her choice of music. The electricity was knocked out and water was flowing down the hill and flooded the first floor in the main house. Capon took it all in stride with no delays and meals on the table. During one power outage, we retreat participants were doing an evening meditation and didn't even notice that the lights were not on. Capon can transport you in that way. Maybe my favorite moments are those times when New Day shared their musical inspiration, or when Roger Tomhey first sang his touching tribute to Capon with the song "Bless Capon Springs," a song that Capon now shares with its guests and plays from the speakers on Sunday mornings, and a song that has always touched my heart and brings tears to my eyes. Maybe my favorite memories are the early morning pre-breakfast meditations, or the songs around the campfire, or the sound of hushed conversations rising from the rocking chairs on the porches as guests connect with one another in that very special place. Maybe it's the hours spent doing puzzles in the game room or dinners on the hill. Maybe it's the many hours of sharing community and deepening friendships with members of Unity of Fairfax as we enjoyed delicious meals at Capon's tables. I know that Capon holds a special place in the history of Unity of Fairfax, and that retreat times there have brought those who attended closer and strengthened our connection with one another and with our community. So it's not easy choosing a favorite memory, but I know that Capon and retreats at Capon embody the song, "Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place." Capon Springs always feels like church to me, and certainly always and forever will ring true and feels like home to me. Bless Capon Springs.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. And let me go back to my PowerPoint deck again and say thank you again, Mary, for all your years of service around retreats. And they were certainly big shoes to fill when I took over the leadership of the retreat team in the last year or so. And this retreat tonight is an example of, it's not just one person, it's an entire team that puts this together. So I am going to give you a very quick, so look at your screens, don't miss this next part, because I'm going to do a bunch of photos, which has also been a group effort that several people have contributed to, including Mid Hunt. Thank you, call out for Mid in particularly. There were so many photos that I tried to, and I heard someone enter, so anyone come off mute, because I can't see who just entered, so welcome folks or whatever. But I tried to put them into 4 buckets. I have historic shots, I have food shots, not many of those though, and then I have what are called friends, and then lots of friends. So these first historic shots, I'm not gonna spend 20 minutes on every one of these, so I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly, but gives you some of that history that it was even before Unity of Fairfax. I think this was one of our early ministers that was queen of the Flower Carnival. And this was our very first group that went to Capon.
No.
Thank you, Jenny, because I can't see faces right now. So I'm hoping this got a laugh. This is obviously earlier than the 1960s, which I think we've been going there for over 60 years, but I just thought it was kind of fun. So some of the historic things that Mary talked about with Unity of Fairfax, but also around Capon. So we all know that when we go to Capon, as we just saw in those polls, that food is a big part of what we do. We also celebrate birthdays. And while I wasn't at this one, obviously everybody's pointing at somebody. Russ is pointing at somebody. And this one kind of looks like a conga line in the dining room. So I'm not sure what's going on there either. So I hope that you see some friends, some old friends maybe you haven't seen in a while. And while this virtual retreat is less calories than your normal time at Capon with the food, I hope you'll enjoy some of these shots of food. Now, as we come to friends, we could have done an hour and a half just on friends, but I know that there's some folks that you'll want to take a look at here. So Mary, you mentioned Joanna, and there she is. Many folks over the years have joined us in Capon. And if you don't know, I didn't know the one on the right here, but that's Reverend Donna, all right? So from young to those maybe not quite as young, sorry, Cecil and Nancy, I'm calling you not so young, but compared to Caitlin, and those like Mary and Jean, I'm not going to say everyone's name here because quickly I will run out of names, but we've had so many people over the years and years join us at Capon, and you've joined them at Capon. Fun shots along the way, lots of fun people and memories. I hope these evoke some memories from you or for you.
These are great.
And even though this one at the bottom, it's the back of their heads, we know who that couple is. And we certainly remember Joanna. Now for the lots of friends photos, and then I promise we'll move on from just the photos and get back to talking about other things. This was our most recent photo of last September. And I don't have the years on all of these, and probably some of you on the phone could tell me what year this is. But it was almost become a tradition to take that group shot on the steps of the meeting house, which we all remember. And then, of course, our room where we spent a good amount of our time when we weren't in the dining room. Up there's Sandy talking to us. And then as we leave and go take our routes home, we have grand memories of all of our friends. So just another quick reminder from your sponsor here that if you would like to contribute to the retreat and the other things that we do at Unity of Fairfax, then you can do text to give, donate now, or you can also mail a check in. All right, Jenny, back to you.
Okay. That was awesome. I love that so much. Thank you, Bowman. I kind of feel like, I can't say I'm there, but oh my gosh, that was really special. Okay, everybody. It's Saturday morning. Woohoo! Everybody stretch. Put your arms up in the sky. You've just had breakfast. You're kind of full. The day's just getting started. Left and right. Help yourself. Oh, little twist. Do that too. Oh, good. Shake it out. All right. So it's now Saturday morning, and we're going to gather in reflection and contemplation as a congregation in the meeting house. Please take it away, Bowman.
One of the things that we always tend to do on Saturday morning is do a meditation. And one of our favorite songs from Capon is The Face of God. So to lead us into our meditation time tonight, I'd like to play the Face of God video. So give me just a second to set this up.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Tu es l'image de Dieu. I hold you in my heart. Tu es l'image de l'amour. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Tu sei la luce di Dio. I hold you in my heart. Tu sei il volto dell'amore. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God. Eres la luz de Dios. I hold you in my heart. Eres la cara del amor. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. 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 La luce di Dio. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God. L'image de Dieu. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God. La luz de Dios. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
I invite you to take a nice, big, deep breath in, to close your eyes, to exhale, surrender on the exhale. And just begin by tuning into your breathing. Tuning into that inner aliveness. And knowing that that aliveness is fueled by spirit. Just take this time in together, where we're able to simply be with each other, be with spirit. And even if we are separated by miles, by locations, we know that we are present with spirit and present with each other. We are connected through consciousness and universal energy and divine love. So I invite you to just take a moment to really feel into that divine love, that universal energy. And just sit with that for a moment. So now I invite you, if you're willing, if you're able, to turn on your video feed, to remain in silence, to open your eyes, and to connect deeply by gazing at each other on screen, knowing that although we are separate, we are together. As you gaze at each person, I invite you to imagine that you are connected by a thread to the other person. And together the two of you are weaving that thread. See that face of God in each of the people here. Feel it through this connection. And as you weave separate threads, notice now that you begin to weave a tapestry. And together, we are weaving a beautiful Unity of Fairfax, Capon Springs tapestry that we all are holding on to, that we all are part of. And though we can't be together in person, we can be together in consciousness, and we are. And see if you can really feel into that and allow yourself to open to that love and that joy that is present right here, right now. Really allow yourself to be in that flow of sending and receiving. And the fullness of our experience that we create together. You are the face of God. I am the face of God. We are the face of God. Namaste, my friends. Amen.
Thank you, Stacy. And now we have some special guests who are actually here live, but we weren't sure they were going to be able to be with us. So I have a video to share of them, but you're going to know who they are immediately.
Good evening. It's Nancy.
And Cecil. And this is our brief but spectacular take on Capon Springs, September 2019.
Some fond memories of Capon Springs. Last year, the theme for our weekend was Times They Are Changing. Little did we know how true that would be. During that early fall weekend, we just soaked up the natural beauty of the familiar surroundings of Capon Springs. The huge, sprawling main building with its old rockers, the flag raising, the flowers, the verdant green grounds with the white cottages and the old original bathhouse. And fountains everywhere, fountains overflowing, ever flowing with healing water. In the bathtubs, in the showers, in the dining room. Life at Capon Springs felt very gentle and spiritual to us, immersed as we were in nature everywhere. Last year, for the first time, we stayed in the former bathhouse. Our room not only had a front door, it had a back door. Drawn through the back door by the sound of water, I discovered a babbling brook, flowing with healing waters, over rocks, around vegetation, through the trees. It was a meditative nature moment for me. As I absorbed the peacefulness, I noticed, to my surprise, the leaves were beginning to fall. Oh no, their colors highlighted by the dampness of the brook. Times they were indeed already changing. But the memories and the blessings of Capon Springs, nestled among the forested mountains, are forever.
Saturday afternoon, we wanted a mountaintop experience. So we drove through the resort and up the road that turns to gravel and takes you to the county line. The Tuscarora Trail crosses the country road at the county line, leading southbound to the Appalachian Trail, 69 miles away. A closer point of interest is Eagle's Nest, or Eagle Rock, only 0.8 of a mile northbound, up the mountain. The forest reveals an inviting, narrow trail. Who could refuse that invitation? The trail leads us through a green forest that eventually adds a frosting of red leaves to the canopy, signaling a coming change in leaf color. Our path narrows as it meets the skyline. Emerging from the curtain of the forest, we experience the beauty of a broad mountain valley before us, extending for miles across West Virginia and into Virginia. Soon the green forest canopy will turn to autumn colors as the season changes. We are grateful that the blessings and peace that Divine Spirit shares with us here. As we depart our exhilarating respite, we notice another expression of divine love, a daddy longlegs, perhaps the local spiritual leader.
Thank you, Nancy and Cecil. You took us back, and it helps us go forward as well. So one more interactive poll before we turn the mic over to Reverend Sandy. So both Cecil and Nancy reminded us of some of those Saturday afternoon activities. So in the chat, if you go back to the chat again, and the question is, what was your favorite free time activity at Capon Springs? What did you like to do Saturday afternoon? The spa, hiking, some more hikings, spa with lavender, walking the grounds, just the woods themselves, rehearsing. All right. Taking in the trail, the library, napping, lying in the hammock. Yep, I love it. I love it. Isn't it cool that even though we were all at the same place, we found different things to do in our free time. So Jenny, let me bring up the PowerPoint deck so we can do a quick share of what's coming next with Reverend Sandy.
Did you all have fun hiking at the spa? Did you enjoy a walk up to the shelter at the golf course? No matter how you spent your afternoon, I know that it was special, that dinner was delicious, the rolls were fantastic, the butter was fresh, the meal was satiating, and now we're all meeting up at the meeting house. We're coming back together after an afternoon apart, and we're going to have the pleasure of listening to our featured speaker tonight, Reverend Sandy. Welcome, Reverend Sandy.
There. Reverend Sandy seems to have trouble with being muted and unmuted. But then that's the story sometimes of Reverend Sandy's life. So, hi all. You are a vision. Are we not here to talk about perfect vision? You are a vision. You are a perfect vision. And I'm delighted to have this opportunity to see you and to be with you. I'm supposed to be doing a centering prayer. And as I was going through different things to try and prep myself, I centered on Emily Cady, or she centered on me, let's put it that way. And I'm going to read to you from her 12th lesson from Lessons in Truth. And I don't know that it's really a prayer as much as it is an affirmative instruction, is what I'll call it. And I think it bears looking at again in this time that we are in right at the moment. So take from what I read to you as you will, and then I will affirm for all of us at the end of the reading. And then I'll launch into what pithy little things I think I might have to say this evening. And I already will thank you ahead of time for just indulging me in that. So let us begin with Emily and become centered. And I'm going to ask you to really hear and see with your heart what Emily is saying, oh, so many years ago, that I believe has great relevance today in our world today. She says, I want to help you to see that there is no real wall of difference between any of us except such as appear to you because of your circumscribed view. I want you to see, if you do not already, that every time you try to limit God's manifestation of himself in any person or through any person, in order to make that manifestation conform to what you see in truth, you are only crying, hey, everyone, come and view my narrowness and my ignorance. I want to stimulate you to lose sight of all differences, all side issues and lesser things, and seek but for one thing. That is the consciousness of the presence of an indwelling God in you and your life. And believe me, just as there is less separation between the spokes of a wheel, the nearer they get to the hub, so you will find that the nearest you will come to the perfect center, which is the Christ, the less difference there will be between you and your brother. And we affirm, I am willing to see the good all around me and everyone I meet, and I am willing to see my own part in possibly blocking the light of the Spirit. I'm willing to let go of all that stands in love's way. And so we affirm that, and I bring you to that in such a way because our words tonight together are going to be very simply and actually quite short on my part. So those of you that are breathing heavy, here we go. Vision. What is vision? We always have vision? Lord knows we always see. I've struggled with seeing most of my life, literally struggled with it. And for those of you that have glasses or contacts, or have lived a life that's been slightly out of focus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I recently had some eye surgery in order to correct my vision. And in the course of this little, very human, physical thing that I was doing that many of you can identify with, some of you have no clue what that means. It really isn't important. What's important is, as I was moving through the experience of having my eyes both checked and then worked on from a surgical point of view, I had a championship time and opportunity to take a look at just exactly what is my vision. And I went from everything to the assistant, to the ophthalmologist saying, you don't have very good vision, to my better understanding of the fact that no, I don't necessarily have clarity in my vision all the time. Even as a child, you may recall being told the old expression, seeing is believing. You get what you see. And you may even remember old hymns from years ago. I certainly did. One that sticks with me all the time is Be Thou My Vision. And I'll hum that all the time. And there's a lot of great tributes to vision, to seeing. And we deal with eyesight all the time. What I'm asking you to do tonight is to kick it up just a notch and deal with the vision, your vision. And what does that mean? That vision means to see beyond what we see. Not a new concept for most of you, but to do it all the time. And that takes practice. To see beyond what the appearance is, to see the Christ in all. And that, my friends, is what we are about in these times. These times are very challenging, more so than most, but they are not to be used as an excuse not to practice principle. And very often we misperceive all of us do in our humanity. And I'm asking us to take a look at that, really take a look at it. Are you seeing with the eyes of your heart? Are you looking at both yourself and those around you through the heart of God, through the eyes of God? Are you practicing being single-eyed, is what we used to call it? Jubilantly single-eyed is what Fillmore used to say. Are you jubilant in your single-eyedness? Do the single-eyedness people appear very often, even in your own life? Are you single-eyed, meaning do you see beyond the appearance? Do you see the Christ in all? And that includes ourselves. In fact, it begins with ourselves. And it takes practice. It takes remembering, going back to center. One of the things I loved about Capon when I would go was the clarity that I received. The clarity that came to me because I was in a space of being willing, of allowing Spirit to be more fully present within me. And I saw with great clarity some of the things that I needed to heal, both in myself and the way I looked at my world. And I tried to begin to see with the eyes of Spirit, from a heart-centered. And I will tell you as we move into this next portion of what we are going to see, Roger Tom Havis put together a very beautiful video overlaying beautiful pictures with the song that he wrote for Capon Springs. Some of you know this and some of you don't. And as I've learned this evening, some of you have never been to Capon and don't really maybe have a feel, if you will, for what Capon is about. What I'm talking to you about is finding clarity. If it's at Capon, great. We're here because this is a retreat around Capon. I would challenge you, when you see this video that Roger has put together, I think it's very touching. I think it will show you a lot about yourself, the vision that you have about yourself. The real challenge that I offer up to you is, when we close the computers, when we walk away this evening, are you able to bring up the Christ in yourself and see with the eyes of Christ? Tonight, tomorrow morning, when you're in the car, when you're in the supermarket, what does that mean? It means seeing beyond the appearance, seeing from the Christ of yourself. That is our one unifying factor. The Christ in me is the Christ in you. And we are brothers and sisters in it all. We are one. When we become aware of our oneness, I didn't say when we talk about our oneness. I said when we become aware of our oneness, we demonstrate that in ourselves and to each other and in our world. And so now that is my not so gentle introduction to a very gentle, touching video. But if you watch from the eyes of your heart, you will see and feel the strength, the power that is in this message that Roger has put together. And it's a message that you are seeing right now. Amen. Namaste.
May your spirit be a free and gentle bird. For 40 years we've helped to spread your word. A gentle call with a message pure and clear that brought us to this place from far and near. May you always be a home away from home. those who travel here must surely roam. May your welcome draw the searching to your door, and the lost be found in you forevermore. An ever-healing fountain upon this holy mountain, bless Capon Springs. May your walls provide a haven safe and warm. May your light and truth pierce through the darkest storm. May the life you've built remain for all our sakes, and your wisdom grow with each new step you take. May your waters always flow clean and clear, a symbol of the way that leads us here. May the hollow hurts of loneliness be few, the surprise of understanding always new, and may the peace of God descend upon this place, and love for all reflect from every face. May the mystery of faith be strong in you, and wisdom move through everything you do. When another generation comes and goes, may your spirit roll in clear and healing flows. An ever-healing fountain upon this holy mountain, bless Capon Springs.
Russ, over to you.
Well, wow, gosh, is your heart as full as mine? You know, when I have had experiences this year in 2020 of revisiting things that are important to me that because of our times are not available to me, there's two things I feel. One is a sense of grief and a sense of loss. And you may be feeling some of that as well, because I don't know about you, but I know it sure would have been nice to be gathered in person at Capon Springs, finding all those extra calories and walking them off, and more importantly, having all those times of connection, not wearing a mask, sitting in close quarters, singing, hugging, embracing. And I mourn that. I truly do. The second thing I feel, though, which is even more powerful, once I allow myself to feel what I feel, is a sense of gratitude for the fact that I had that. That has been a part of my being, my life experience. Nothing, no one, no power, no principality can take that away from me. I own that. It is who I am. This Capon Springs experience that we are sharing tonight is a reminder we have that. No one will ever take that away from us. And I'm grateful too that we now have the technology that allows us to revisit that, to reconnect and renew and remind ourselves of the power of community. We are reminded of our capacity to be agile and flexible, and to grow and to learn new things, because goodness gracious, we are all learning new things we never thought we would have to know, like when to mute and unmute ourselves and the difference between meeting mode and webinar mode. But think of it going forward. When we gather at Capon next time, how many of our participants will be in person, hopefully everybody in this room, and how many might be joining us, at least for parts, virtually, because they can. I've been so grateful this year for the deepening of connection that I've experienced, specifically because of COVID. Who would have seen that coming? I've been so fortunate that I've been able to visit with all of you in your homes, like I'm doing right now, which probably wouldn't have happened before, even with Stacy, who was down there in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're truly blessed. We are so blessed in so many ways. We are blessed most importantly because of community. COVID can't take that away from us. COVID can't take Capon away from us. These things live in our hearts. So much of what we've been reminded of tonight is the necessity of being together and loving one another. Reverend Sandy's reading does address the times in reminding us that we must love each other more than we ever thought we could, and realize the impediment to that is only found within us, and we have the power to let that go. In retreat times, we do have the option to come apart for a while, to come where the air and the water are cleaner, and cleanse ourselves of whatever blockages we might have to greater connection and communion. So tonight, we have had that experience. We have had all the elements of that experience, except for the chocolate. Nobody has mentioned chocolate tonight, and I mourn that. But I also will take care of that on my own. I'm a responsible adult most times. All that being said, there's just an introduction to a closing prayer. So I invite you to join me in that space of prayerful consciousness. And just breathe into that experience. And I invite you to visualize now yourself being at your favorite place in Capon Springs. Maybe it is in the healing waters of the spa, or the refreshing waters of the pool, or on a rocking chair, or sitting on the rocks at Eagle's Nest. And just feel into that experience for a moment. What does that feel like? Just be still with it and feel every sensation, whether it's the water on your skin, the breeze in your hair, the coolness of the air, the sounds of the meeting hall, the taste of your favorite food. Let's just sit with that for a moment. In this, our sacred Capon container, we pray. We hold the knowing and the prayer that every man, woman, and child on this planet soon will experience something like this. So that every man, woman, and child on this planet will know that they have been loved and nurtured. So that every man, woman, and child on this planet will know that each in his or her own way will have had an experience of sacred communion with the infinite. God bless Capon Springs. God bless us, everyone. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen and amen.
So on behalf of the entire retreat team, we thank you for spending the time with us tonight, and know that our hearts are full. So as they say in Hollywood, that's all, folks.
Well,
I do have one more slide I can put up. You know what it is, right? Bless Capon Springs, but also just a reminder about text to give. But I'm going to have our last view, our last reminder, really see everyone's face and take that in. And we'll see everybody tomorrow morning, just a little over 12 hours away.
all right. Thank you all for being
Thanks,
here and
everyone.
being you, and safe home. And remember, don't forget to stop at the Apple House and get some donuts to take with you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. That was lovely. Thanks.
It was very nice. Thank you.
Way to go, retreat
Good
team.
night and thank you.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Night.
Good night.
Last night,
Good night.
safe.
Good night. Good night, Carol.